All right, welcome to the RCR Podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Brian.
And it's going to be a noisy one because there's a lot of banging going on.
Yeah, they're working on the apartment below this.
Yeah.
And also we had some problems with the microphones. Like last time, the board was perfectly fine, and now we have this background noise, so we're going to try to get it out in post.
Yeah.
Which means we probably need a... Wait, we already paused for room tone, right?
Yeah. Well, right. I mean, the room tone, I figured that was at the start where we're just like sitting and nothing's going on.
I also need to set my timer for 45 minutes because last time we barely got it in before the battery. We're using a GoPro as the audio source so we can have video at the same time. The GoPros are pretty good. That's a GoPro plugged into a mixer. So, and the audio source is coming from the headphone jack off of the mixer board into the GoPro, and that's what we're using, so we don't have to do two audio sources for the same sort of podcast. So in 45 minutes, unfortunately, we're going to have to call it a day, because when you plug the headphone jack and also the power jack on a GoPro Hero 4 are the same thing. So pick one or the other.
Yeah. What else are you really going to do?
So last night I got really drunk. But then I sobered up, and then I drove home. And it was the first time I ever just went to social media and said, I need social interaction, who's around? And within 4 hours, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 people came out. And we went to Saucony Creek. Really, there were 5 people. Dante Maglinelli joined us. Nick wasn't along. Dante Maglinelli is the MMA instructor at the Racquetball Club. So the 5 of us, went to Saucony Creek, sort of brew house, gastropub in Kutztown. It's not really in town. It's out on Kutztown Road, and it is built into an old car dealership.
Yeah, it used to be a car dealership, which is such a strange conversion to me of just you're taking the old hollowed out husk of a car dealership and putting a brewery in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're going to turn anything into something else, that makes as much sense as anything.
Yeah, they have a big open area that was the showroom, and now it's where you drink.
Yeah.
And they have a freaking big parking lot because it was a dealership.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was pretty good. I was glad that I could have a night out, but I didn't have to be Mr. Regular.
Yeah.
I didn't have to entertain people. They were fine to talk amongst themselves, and I was happy to just be a part of the happenings. And thank you again to the person who gave us these microphones. I know we're using them wrong again, like we're supposed to be speaking into the side, but for whatever reason, it sounds a little bit better.
Yeah.
If we're speaking into the top of them. I don't get it. I apologize for my gas because I still have beer farts, and I took Beano this morning, but it's losing the war.
Honestly, I can't smell anything. I mean,
You're used to my mask.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's the... you're used to... Well, it's the old adage that everybody loves their own brand. But, it's... Sometimes you get used to other brands, too. It's...
My brand.
My brand.
Oh. I meant, while I was in Pottsville today, I meant to go to Boscov's and buy more scented candles for my bedroom, because when I go out drinking, I come home with the beer farts in the middle of the night, and then I just hotbox myself. And that's what happened last night in my bedroom. And so right now the door is closed in my bedroom, but the window is open, trying to freshen out that room over there. And I meant to go to Boscov's today and get more scented candles. Just give me tons of the evergreen pine Christmas time candles. I love that smell. And I was in Pottsville today, and this isn't a humble brag, but I was at the Salvation Army handing out turkeys. And there was a reporter there from the local paper. And she was like asking really curt questions to people as they come out of the Salvation Army with their box of fixins and the frozen donated turkeys. And she was asking them questions like, how is this helping you this Thanksgiving? She asked questions like, do you have a job? Right?
Why would you...
Like, what brings you here today? What do you think?
Well, yeah, that's not journalism. That's just kind of...
I wanted to say to her, hey, Jack Webb called. He wants you to be more curt. I think that reference is a bit too dated.
Yeah.
Joe Friday.
Dragnet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah.
And people were talking to me more than that. Like, this reporter from the local paper just said it was a reporter, and people just were giving them short answers. But people telling me their life story as I was... See, the deal is I was there with Dante, and Dante donated 1,000, which got like 50 turkeys or something like that. Or just he just donated 1,000 to the Red Cross this holiday season. So good guy Dante.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
And so we're just there with these 16-pound turkeys, putting them in plastic bags. And, you know, it's someone comes out, they usually got kids and they got a stroller and everything. Oh, here's a big box and here's this frozen turkey. Don't drop it. Yeah. So, okay, we'll carry them to your car. So that's what we did. And on the way to the car, they would tell me about their ailments. They would tell me about, oh, this is a rough one this year. But they wouldn't talk to the reporter. So I think, I like the idea of reporting, but I hate the idea of being intrusive into people's lives. But I think I would be a good reporter, but I wouldn't tell anybody I was reporting, which is why I like the journals and everything so much, because I'm out here writing, but I'm not writing for anything.
Yeah. It's exactly, I think part of it is you kind of have to identify yourself as a reporter if you're going to use it for something. Of course, I don't know that. It's just sort of an estimation, but... Yeah. I think people are more forthcoming when they feel that it's simply one person talking to another and not one person who's going to take this story and then create a narrative. Yeah. You know, there's this media power to create narratives, and you don't want your story to sort of be co-opted to that purpose, to be telling some grand story about, look at the, how the holidays are bringing out the whatever, even if it's like an upbeat
positive
story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everybody there who is getting their free turkey and free Thanksgiving dinner from the Salvation Army. What everybody coming out the back door who was passing by, Dante, myself, and the lady taking the tickets, everybody, what they wanted equally as much as the food is that they wanted dignity.
Yeah.
Coming out. And most people were jovial, joking with each other, things like that. But man, the reporter just put like a stink on the whole thing. Because even the people who are working the Salvation Army, none of us are really talking about politics. We're not talking about the economy at all. We're just general chit chat on the weather and did you see this, or sports, or things like that. There was no real reference to times of need or the charity of other things. I think people really just want to be treated as human, and we talked about that when we were talking about the Ford Explorer police utility.
Yeah.
What do cops really want? Well, they want to be treated as people, like that, and the same holds true, I guess, for charity.
And I think there's a larger issue of, it's kind of nice to be in an environment where not everything is politicized.
Right.
Where, because it's very the 24-hour news cycle makes it absolutely exhausting. you get sick of hearing about politics. You get sick of hearing about the division and that everybody finds something to be upset about, that, you can't even watch football without turning it into a red state, blue state issue.
Yeah.
And you just want to be in an environment where people just talk to each other as people about anything. It could be about cars. It could be about movies, it could be about this frozen turkey and, I got to use my sister's oven and all this other stuff. And I don't know. People are just very prone to tribalism and turning things into my team versus your team, when really all anyone wants is just to have that human to human connection.
Right. So speaking of tribalism, Tesla has been making some grand claims with that Roadster.
Oh, the 1.9?
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's kind of... If they opened up a wormhole and got from one end to the other in 1.9 seconds, I still wouldn't believe it.
Doesn't mean it can't be done.
Oh, it can be.
Yeah, it can be done. I don't know. We don't know a price yet, do we?
No, I didn't. Well, last I checked, I didn't. We were talking we did this guy Adam's car yesterday, and he was talking about it, and I don't think we were talking about this because I don't think there was a price point that was mentioned yet.
There's I don't know if there's a clay model or anything. They're claiming these numbers, but no one has seen it. If it really is going to make that kind of number, I think over under is $150,000. Because a Model S optioned out is like $110,000.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe 130. Over under 130,000. I think that's reasonable for what at launch. Who knows? DeMuro will get one. He'll find a way to get one. We won't. We'll have to wait for someone to buy one and offer it up. We'll wait to have someone. We have to wait for someone to buy one and then wait for them to get a sense of humor, and then we might get one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think for the most part, I don't know that viewers want us to get one, just because it's kind of too much. When you get a 6-figure car that is that expensive, then you're in that like supercar Grand Tour, Top Gear or whatever territory of just, who's really driving this,
Right.
It's just kind of, and who really needs to go that fast anyway? I mean, maybe that's the old man in me talking of just like, oh, well, it's the thrill of the drive and everything. And I'm just like thinking, there's nowhere I need to be that badly, unless, someone I care about is in the hospital. Right. But even then, it's, you get there when you get there.
Right. What kind of tires are going to hold that thing to the road? I mean, you need Mickey Thompson drag radials. You just light the tires. Yeah, that's another thing. Anyway, we'll see. We will definitely see. In the meantime, I have to go get some honest-to-goodness regular cars because we've been doing a lot of fancy stuff lately, and the fancy stuff isn't going to stop.
Yeah.
Because we filmed some very nice things, but there's stuff I wanted to drive. Yeah, that's another thing. Thank you very much that this is my show and we will do what I want. Thank you. What was that guy from who owns that soda pop stop out in L.A.? When Coca-Cola tried to come in there and buy space on his shelves, and he said, thank you very much for reminding me that I own this store and I own these shelves, and what's going to go on it is what I want.
Well, again, the channel, the name is a troll.
Yeah, it was from Jump.
Yeah, and because there was a post on our cars about a week or two ago about I just don't get.
Why was it called regular cars when they're not regular cars?
Animated GIF.
Oh yeah. I'm looking for that on high quality GIFs or something. No, but it's just that regular is the review more than the car. Now, granted, it started out as like regular cars by necessity, because who the hell's going to give us anything nice? Even now, it's like, who's going to give us anything nice? But but apparently some people,
Yeah.
The Christmas special is a nice car, this year.
Yeah.
So, and we've gotten some weird stuff because the Christmas special is always either something expensive or something weird.
Yeah.
Like last year was a lawnmower.
Yeah.
And,
I forgot last year. Yeah, I went to Justin Kramer's house and drove his diesel turbo lawnmower.
Yeah.
Justin Kramer just bought a Jetta.
Ugh, your mortal enemy. Your brother drives a Jetta.
Everybody's... Yeah. Jettas. Newman.
Yeah, which is funny because I like,
They're fine. They're fine. I've ridden them and they're nice. I keep saying this.
Like, there's nothing... It's just some things you just have that one nemesis, I guess. It's like, why do Jerry and Newman not like each other? It's just sort of, they run in the same circles more or less.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they just don't get along. It's oil and water. Some people just have that car.
Jerry.
Like me, mine is a Pontiac Sunfire. Like, I just don't like them. So, now, granted, there's a lot of reasons for that is, like my Summit Girl drove one, and then so there's like these weird memories attached, and it's kind of the same way why I like that 98 Jetta Wolfsburg, because I had memories tied to that too. So now, granted, it's personal bias entering into the narrative of the car, but that's kind of always what it's been. Even when reviewing the Mustang review that came out today, that was sort of something that was colored by personal biases, because that's kind of what you get. Like there's never been a sort of objective point of view in this. It's always been our subjective thoughts on cars. So yeah.
Not for nothing, this is a thing that I do. I take the bottom of my shirt and I rub it between my thumb and forefinger. I've been doing it since I can remember, like single digits of age. Some people twirl their hair. I do that too. Some people bite their fingernails. Some people click pens. I rub the fabric of my undershirt. To me, it's like chewing gum, and I don't quite understand why I like this or why I do it. But it's a habit I took up really, really early. And it's like I rub the fibers of the shirt, and it makes this kind of very faint zipper noise. And like I do it on road trips, and like sometimes I can't stop doing it. It's like a hunger. I have to wear my shirts out, and most of my shirts after a while get a hole right here because I just keep doing this. I pinch the fabric and I rub it back into rub it until it makes this noise. And then I zone out.
I mean, it is kind of weirdly relaxing in a distracting fidget spinner kind of way.
Yeah. People got fidget spinners. I wreck my shirts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, remember when we had that road trip and I had to stop twirling my hair because I'll twirl it into almost like this tight dreadlock, and then I'll start pulling the hair out, like popping the strands of hair. And I kept like smacking my wrist, like stop that, because I would get this like tight knot in the hair, and then the only way to get it out was to go right down to the root with my finger and like push it through, and that hurt.
Yeah.
And then start the process all over again. Meanwhile, Ohio, there's nothing to do.
Well, yeah. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
This was back in the days when we were still listening to Adam Carolla.
Yeah.
Pre-Rogan.
Yeah, pre-Rogan.
Pre-Joey Diaz.
Yeah, the whole Allison Rosen thing.
Yeah, that was kind of the weird point for me. I mean, that idea that, I don't know, it never seemed like he really wanted her on the show anyway. Yeah, it was weird.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, it's speculation.
Down that road. It's been over 3 years since that happened, and I haven't listened to Carolla since. I'm sure he's a great guy.
No, I'm sure, yeah. Listen to his audiobook. It was good.
Yeah, his audiobook is fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know how he remained friends with that Ray guy for that long. I don't know how.
Thing. Yeah, he peed on me.
Yeah.
He peed on my friend while driving.
Yeah. Squirted water out of his asshole. It's just I don't know. How do you? It's like a cartoon character come to life somehow.
Where'd you get that shirt? Oh, Nick is wearing. For those of you just listening,
Cream of the crop.
He's wearing a Macho Man Randy Savage shirt from one of his promos.
Yeah,
the cream.
Yeah, and he keeps materializing creamers. The Macho Man, cream of the crop.
Where did you get that shirt?
ProWrestlingTees.com.
Okay.
I have this weird novelty T-shirt obsession. Last week, I was wearing this Hamilton T-shirt that was Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII, and it said ex-soldier instead. And this happened at New York Comic Con too. I found like these Golden Girls shirts because. You know, I'm big into the Golden Girls. Like, it's just something I grew up with, like Unsolved Mysteries, and so I'm always going to be a fan. But I have all these just random weird novelty T-shirts, and you know, Xanark and Abe's from Final Fantasy X. I have the Beats World Tour Killer
Doug.
Tofu, from Doug. And, you know, it's just sort of random. I just have that. And this was the thumbnail for the New York Comic Con thing, but just this shirt that says carbs. You know, I'm just kind of, you know, living my own truth.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and that's a favorite promo. I kind of miss, which is not to say that I wish people still did heavy amounts of drugs in wrestling, because it leads to a lot of tragic early deaths. But I kind of miss the coked out promos of the promos that were only possible with cocaine. Yeah. Of, you know, Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan. And
it's just like, was it Randy Savage who just like, I'm going left, I'm going right, I'm going, like, he's just saying what he sees. Yeah. And he just one thing, he just turned around. It was tragic and brilliant.
Yeah. And it's hard to really imagine that ever being duplicated in the sort of scripted era of pro wrestling now. Because back then they would give you bullet points and you just say, hey, go out there and just, you know, as you say whatever you want, but just make sure that you, you know, mention we're going to be in this town, threaten whoever your opponent's going to be, you know, just and I basically like don't curse and that's it, and you just go out there and you cut your promo. Now today you get a script and it's written in a way that no one would ever talk. It's literally some of the worst scripting on television. If this were like a regular TV show, it would be among the worst written shows on television. And I'm talking about like modern WWE. It's like really bad in terms of like how things are written.
I remember this one promo with the Ultimate Warrior, and speaking of coked out,
that was
I was at my one friend's house and we were watching it, and he like gets off camera or out of frame, and they just like you just see him following. Maybe he said he was going to do this, but then he like runs into the background, and there was some sort of like scaffolding, like the lighting scaffold, and he just starts grabbing it and shaking it, and you see like the light shaking or something. Maybe somebody will find that thing. Promo, he's like, and whoever the guy that I don't know his name,
Mean Gene Okerlund, of the
guy with the mic, who just like he like asked the leading questions and this. And I think he had to start like riffing or something like that. Like, well, we definitely see the power of the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, he's just shaking the set, the steel scaffold with the different lights with the gels in them up top, and they're like,
Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior is one of those people who just like makes no sense, you know. And that was during the time where, you know, people would get these really weird, random. Announced from these really random locations. So Ultimate Warrior was announced as being from parts unknown, and then, you know, Sid Vicious was announced as being from anywhere he damn well pleases. Which is oh gosh, it's one of those things that I just kind of feel is gone from wrestling now. I mean, other than the drugs, is just people having the freedom to be as utterly wackadoo as they feel they need to be.
Yeah. Wackadoo.
So I was kind of. Have you ever seen the movie Get Out?
No, but I saw the interview with Peele.
Yeah, Jordan Peele.
And on Stephen Colbert. I saw that.
Yeah, it's a fascinating... I finally got around to seeing it. Like, I rented it on YouTube, and it was excellent. It was fantastic. And I'm convinced that's getting a Best Picture nomination as an Oscar whore of myself, you know, watching since I was like 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, it's that time of year where I'm starting to predict what's going to get nominated for what. Mm-hmm. Like, there's this movie Lady Bird out that I'm pretty sure is getting in. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is another one that's getting in. Like, I'll be shocked if it doesn't get in, but I'll also kind of be shocked if Get Out misses, if only because what you have is sort of this allegorical interpretation of slavery and cultural appropriation that's masquerading as a horror film, you know. It's, and you know, without getting too much into it because it's spoiler territory, but it literally is, and I do mean literal in the literal sense, it's like cultural appropriation, you know, of taking what is it's yeah, I can't think of a better way to just say it than it's appropriation. Yeah.
I can't say it either, because my bad habit, we talked about this before, is reading the wiki of a movie and then watching it. Or if it's one that I don't think I'm going to watch, I'll read it anyway. And if it's one I really like, I'll read it. It's like I have to be invested enough, but not to the point where I want to examine its cinematography. There are 2 movies that I will not read the wiki because I want to see what happens. I'm invested into the plot. Yeah. And that's Star Wars. I don't know what happens. I just want to have a fun Star Wars time. And also Blade Runner, even though it's out of theaters, I still won't read that wiki. I just want to have a fun time when I see it.
Yeah.
We tried to go watch Blade Runner, but we missed it by like 3 days or something.
Yeah, because my thing was, I'm like, hey, let's go see Blade Runner tomorrow. And it was Thursday, and I forgot that was when movies roll over. So I had been, when I asked you if you wanted to go, it had been Wednesday, and I looked it up, and it was still in theaters. And so I'm like, oh, you know, whatever. Because in my head, it's like the movies don't roll over until Friday. Yeah. And then when we got to the theater, they had rolled over, and they were playing whatever else silly things that...
Vindicators 4.
Yeah. Oh, what happened?
X-Men versus Capcom. The movie.
I'm just
Children of the Atom, the movie.
Just increasingly ridiculous films that I mean, I guess we're kind of in a certain interesting age of filmmaking in that movies that I didn't think were possible are now possible. The idea that you can make Justice League movie and that it would do as bad as as badly as Justice League actually did. Yeah. Which I don't know. It's my problem is that I've always been a DC guy, and the movies that they've been putting out have been like steadily infuriating to me, just because they're ruining the sort of mythos. And you know, and they're like, and again, to get back into the weird how obnoxious the term is, but they're like destroying the brand for these characters, so that like they're salting the earth so that they might never be successful again. Right. You know, Marvel has all the success. It's insane to me that, you know, an Ant-Man movie would do a bigger opening weekend than a Justice League movie.
Yeah. So Robert Downey Jr., awesome. Like, I believe him as Tony Stark. Mark Ruffalo, fine, as simultaneously the Hulk and Banner.
Thor Ragnarok soars on Ruffalo wings. Terrible pun, but still, he was very good in the
movie. Ryan Reynolds, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I get it. But Deadpool is a different universe from like the Avengers. Like, they're Marvel properties, but it's like the Fox Marvel universe, and then there's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is all the sort of light and bubbly and not R-rated things. Yeah. No, I loved Deadpool. Now that movie's going to age terribly just because of all the pop culture references. That's why like DreamWorks movies tend to age really badly and Disney Pixar movies don't, because the Pixar movies, like they don't really have the same amount of cultural references, but then you go to like a Shrek or something and they're using like licensed music from the period, and it's kind of making jokes about, there's this joke in Shrek 2 about Cameron Diaz having a prince, or her character Princess Fiona having a Prince Justin poster on the wall because Cameron Diaz was dating Justin Timberlake in like 2004, but like nobody fucking remembers that, so why would you put that in the movie? It's that type of shit. It's just, you know, dated humor, I guess. Which I mean, I'm sure we've done it too, of like current event and pop culture thing, and you know.
We had a Val Kilmer joke. Oh, that's coming up.
Oh yeah, I wrote that. I was trying to think of like like I felt bad after I wrote it and I sent it anyway.
You want me to cut that part out?
You can, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just that it's such an easy target.
It is.
Like, the joke was basically that the car that we reviewed rumbled like Val Kilmer's empty stomach.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think of like you know.
Oh, a fat joke. Wonderful.
Yeah. And, you know. And
I guess the only thing. Well, I made the John Popper joke.
Yeah, but it's
I guess it's safe because he's thin now.
Well, I think about it because, you know, like, yeah, I'm a fat guy. I can make a fat joke. But then I'm thinking, like, you know, do you really want to be putting that back into the atmosphere, you know, of, like, cycling that around? That and, like, I'm thinking, like, I should be cleverer than this. You know, I don't know. I used to be smarter than this. I would always sort of think to myself.
No, I had a lot of old people jokes in that. But then it's an old people brand.
And you were not talking about like a specific old person.
That's
either.
right.
Yeah. So that, and you never know the ways in which things will come at you. In that there was this one joke that I was going to make this one time about this YouTuber named Spoonie who basically stopped making videos but kept his Patreon open and is basically accepting money for no content and hasn't updated to state that he's not making content. And I wanted to make this sort of like obtuse joke about it in one of my videos, and then I'm like, nah, but like you don't really know what he's going, like, yeah, it's a shitty thing that he's doing, but do I really, is that something that I really want to comment on? Like, most of the time I look at something and think at the script, is this something that you really need to say?
Yeah.
And normally I think, you know, for like the 7 people who might get that joke.
Right.
Because again, you can have inside jokes, but you don't want your show to be impenetrable, especially when it's just like the me videos, which I feel I pour over the script more because I feel like I have something to prove in a way.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I've gotten like a lot better at the whole accepting that this is what's going to happen when you put out a video, because it's been, you know, and I wanted to thank people for, because there were a lot of like really cool comments in the New York Comic-Con video that came out last week. And I part of my process is sort of trying to get into a better more like narrator mode because I'm very lispy, and so when I'm driving the car I sort of practice it while like I speak along with songs instead of singing along. It's like there's a log by the fire and it burns like me for you.
It's a log by the fire.
Oh yeah, I guess that is a bit Walken-esque.
For you
you in the red, chop chop. Don't have to tell you again about the scooching.
Yes. No, narration, like anything, is, I don't know, maybe this voice just comes naturally to me, so it's easier. But I expect that sort of thing too. Like, oh, this isn't Mr. Regular's voice. I'm like, well, you've been, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, as Tony Rumble from Bruce Hen's Garage says, wah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wah.
Well,
that's. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. It's just one of those things where I think if you get to a certain level where you can do this and actually make a living off of it, then my mentality is that like I don't get to complain about people saying shitty things because that's just part of the territory. So get some thicker skin. And so I'm sort of telling myself that. And then I realized I went to the New York Comic-Con video and there was this comment towards the bottom that was just, I hate this stupid guy, blah, blah, blah. And then but I didn't feel anything when I read it. And I'm like,
there you go.
Made it.
Yeah.
Like that was the first, a lot of times, I'll feel like a minor pang for 2 minutes. I think that kind of sucked. But then it goes away in, a few minutes. But that was the first time where I read a comment and didn't even get the pang.
Yeah.
Of just I'm kind of over it now. Yeah, it still sucks sometimes to read those things, but at the end of the day, I'm privileged to be able to do what I'm doing. And so at the end of the day, that's small potatoes to not have to, I guess, I don't know. It's just, it goes with the territory.
Yeah. Yep. How are we doing on time?
I have no idea.
How's this battery doing? Oh, we got 11 minutes before this thing is going to cut into the Apple iPhone piano riff.
All right. Well,
it's a delightful day today. 40 degrees in Pennsylvania under clear skies, and the humidity is 41%. I could go on like that.
Yeah,
we had this one thing where, in that kind of Mr. Plinkett voice, to just read my mail, and just to do that.
I believe that you doing the weather could get 100,000 views at least of just
Dude.
Mr. Regular reads the weather.
We kind of make a vaporware track, and I'll just read the weather.
It's
I wonder if the Weather Channel has that phrase copyrighted.
What?
And now your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel. And now the regular weather. There's this one, my buddy Brian Shoup said there was this one track of Marky Smith from the band The Fall just reading sports scores on some BBC radio program. It's Millwall 1, Coventry 2, Stratford something 3.
It's like that episode of Saved by the Bell where they get the radio station back up and Slater's really bad at doing the sports. So they just say, hey, just read the... All right, so today's scores are 10-2, 6-5. It's just like that. I don't know.
Man, just the weather.
Yeah, well, you could have people, tell us what your hometown is in the comments.
Man.
And we'll compile a list of hometowns and just, read it. And maybe on your commute to work, you just hear, oh, hey, this is the weather in my hometown today. That's interesting. Or it was the weather in your hometown at whenever it was recorded, I guess. But
today in central Pennsylvania, it is sunny at 45 degrees. Tuesday, 54 of a high, 40 a low. Wednesday, 45 with a low of 25. On Thursday, it will be sunny. With a high of 42 and a low of 29. On Friday, it will be sunny with a high of 47 and a low of 33. Saturday, rain in the morning, 47 degrees as a high, 33 degrees as a low. And now the weather for the city of Los Angeles. Currently, it is 71 degrees under fair skies. Tuesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 84 and a low of 61. And now the weather for Anchorage, Alaska. Currently, it is 12 degrees Fahrenheit under sunny skies. On Tuesday, it will be snow with a high of 19 and a low of 8. Wednesday will be partly cloudy with a high of 13 degrees and a low of 8. And now the weather for Coventry, United Kingdom. Currently, it is 54 degrees under partly cloudy skies at night. Tuesday, it will be cloudy with a high of 55 degrees and a low of 54 degrees. On Wednesday, light rain with a high of 57 degrees and a low of 46. And now the current weather for Wellington, New Zealand. Currently, it is 55 degrees. Wednesday, it will be partly cloudy, with a high of 64 and a low of 52. On Thursday, it will be partly sunny, with a high of 69 degrees. like I could do like an hour of that, and it'll be like the surprise symphony.
Yeah.
There will be one thing that will be messed up, and you don't know when it's coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it's coming.
It's just gonna happen.
9 degrees. No, and it'll be like explosions and sound effects, and cuts right back into nothing. And then, like, if it becomes a solid thing that I do, there'll be one forecast where it's just normal, and you're waiting for something that never comes.
Frayed nerves.
Maybe that isn't the greatest idea.
Yeah.
Well, for the majority of this week in Wellington, New Zealand, the high will be 69 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, there's more. If I scroll down, I get like a script.
Huh.
Today, partly cloudy. Today. It says today twice. Today, partly cloudy today. It is currently 55 degrees. The high will be 62. Sunrise at 5:47 a.m. Sunset will be 8:26 p.m. Chance of rain, 10%. Humidity, 80%. Winds south at 10 miles an hour. With the wind chill, it feels like 52. Precipitation will be 0 inches. Pressure is 30.1 inches of mercury. Visibility, 6 miles, with a UV index of 1. I could do that all day.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure it's very relaxing after the order of it and the pattern of it.
Yeah.
It's very...
I should just load up this phone with cities and just Mr. Regular reads the weather.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and some people would listen to it. I don't doubt for a second of people who just would enjoy.
Want to listen? Like, you could listen to it as you go to sleep, and I'll read you the weather.
Yeah,
of
because
cities nationwide.
ASMR channels are really popular, and that's kind of a random thing. I mean, granted, most of it is just like cute girls speaking softly into a microphone.
I hate that. I don't know why I hate that so much. I know why I hate that. And I won't get into it on mic.
Yeah. No.
But I'll tell you off mic.
Yeah. It's just a very... How are we doing on time?
4 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll just do one question from Ask RCR. And
Okay.
It's, will RCR meets be happening more regularly, maybe annually?
Annually, yes. I am having a Christmas party. I talked to the owner of the Racquetball Club, and it will be December 16th.
It's like the third Saturday. I think it's the 16th. Yeah, because my... Yeah. It would have to be the 16th.
It's going to be Saturday, December 16th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Check my Twitter for directions.
Yeah. That's the only way people ever find out about these is through Twitter, because we can't announce that. Now, this probably has the same reach as Twitter, like the from viewership.
The video has way more, because more people watch the videos than they do. I mean, because the YouTube subscription right now is 450,000, and I have 19,900 Twitter followers. So yeah, the videos reach more people. But I don't want to overwhelm that place. Because when we look at the bar, because my gym has a bar in it, it has an occupancy of like maybe 50 people in there. So I think I'm only going to announce it on Twitter and Facebook. Of course, now I'm kind of doing it on video as well.
Well, but I mean...
But not as many people watch these as they do the normal videos, and you're actually getting toward the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
So that will be... I mean, RCR Christmas Party, it's not going to be car-related unless you really want to hang out in a dark parking lot in December
freezing
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We'll go inside. I think I'll also rent out one of the tennis/basketball courts. So if you want to do other stuff, sports ball, you can.
Yeah. Well, sounds like fun. And anyway, thank you for listening to this week's podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Brian.
And have a good week.
Have a good week. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving.